Hi, welcome to CNY Woman Knits and Crochets. I'm Mindy, otherwise known as Knitter CNY on Ravelry and Instagram. Today we're going to do a whip session, which is a work in progress. I'll sit with you for a little while, we'll talk, and I'll work on a project. You're more than welcome to grab a project and work on it. If you like what you see in this video, you can subscribe below. You can give it a thumbs up. You can leave a comment. Today I'm going to be working on a corner to corner baby blanket, and it is in the color Double Dutch. I can't remember whether I worked on this the last time we had a whip session or not, but I am pretty far on it. I have a good chunk to do on the end of it, so we're over the halfway mark. I'm probably about 3/4 of the way, and I've got this much left. I can't fit it all in the frame, so that gives you an idea. I'm using a size K crochet hook, which is a 6.5 millimeter hook. I've got some of my bins that are behind the camera that are normally stacked right up against the bookshelf are pulled out because I wanted to get yarn out of my bottom bin, which I found the Walmart yarn Mainstays Cozy Chenille 220 yards per skein that I was looking for, that I talked about in a community post. You can get 4 of those for $21.97, shipping only. It comes in a variety of colors in the solids, and I think there's about 3 or 4 varieties in a variegated. So if you're looking for an alternative to Bernat blanket, you can find it at Walmart. And I think the yarn is just as good. The yarn that I have is made in Vietnam, and it says it's from a woman-owned business as well. So you can, I don't know if that's still the case. I bought mine last June, apparently, according to my Walmart app. So if their supplier is still the same, that information would hold true. If their supplier has changed, then that information may have changed. So I'm just going with what's on my label. And the colors I have for that are a variegated that is blue, gray, and white. And the variegated that I ordered that will be in on March 11th is a green variegated. I think they call it green multi or something like that, or neutral multi or something, but it's got a green tinge to it. I didn't want to get the solids because I get bored when I work with solids pretty much, but I can always order a solid if I need to, if I run out of blanket yarn, which I'm not likely to. I have enough puzzle yarn as well to do baby blankets. I just got an update from our coordinator. She'll be doing a pickup in March. I won't be dropping the stuff off at Joann's. We've been told by headquarters for Project Linus, do not drop off at any Joann's at all. And there is a library that is near me that is a pickup point, so I will drop it off at the library close to the date that she's going to be picking up, so that way it's not stored very long there, and then they have, you know, room for meetings and things like that. So that covers the Project Linus front. Work has been going pretty well. I'm learning new things all the time. Like I said, I'm not going to share about the day job too much. It's just a job. I like it. They pay me. I have a job. Very good. It enables me to buy yarn and pay my bills. With Joann's going out of business, they are going to liquidate all of the stores. The first 533 were sold to one liquidation company, and then we got the news last week that the other remaining 300 are sold to another liquidator who will also take care of liquidating those last 300 stores. So I'm not in too much of a hurry to order from Joann's because I'm just not, because I don't know when the bottom's going to fall out, and they're just going to be like, oh, no more online orders, no more orders at all. So, plus I've got enough yarn. I say that now, but in a few minutes I'll tell you why that's not necessarily going to stop me from ordering from a particular place. In Joann's case, I have one order that's coming in tomorrow. There was one skein of yarn in it. There are several canvas bags, and there was a fourth item. I think they were stitch markers, large stitch markers, if I remember correctly. 2 canvas bags and 1 skein of yarn. So nothing very exciting. The skein of yarn is a Patton's Croy color in the color flax, just for heels and toes on socks, because I do have sock yarn here. I have it here and up here. This is Patton's Croy, this is Patton's Croy, Patton's Croy, Patton's Croy for toes and heels. This is some Mary Maxim yarn that I had. This is Patton's Croy down here. This is Knit Picks Felici. And then this is a Mary Maxim Festive Feet yarn. That's a Christmas yarn. So I've got sock yarn. I may take a couple weeks break from crocheting blankets so that I can focus on socks. I haven't quite decided yet. We'll have to see. I got the yarn for the blankets, but I'm getting kind of burned out on blankets all the time, and I do need to make some socks. I do have one pair of socks on the needles, but I'm not happy with it. It's using a 2.6 millimeter, and you would think that I normally use 2.5, and you think that would make a big, not a huge difference, but it kind of is, and I'm kind of over it. So I may pull that all out and start over again. I haven't quite decided. I'm almost done with one sock though, so I may just suck it up and do the toe and part of the foot in another color. It is using Patton's Croy sock yarn. I can't remember what the colorway is. I think it's like sort of a greenish color. Let's see, in other news, I came home to the water department truck being on my block, digging a big hole. Apparently I missed a water pipe broke during the day. My neighbors reported it. The water department came out right away. They dug everything up. They replaced what they needed to replace. And then as I was coming home, they were waiting for the stone to do the backfilling. So they got their couple loads of stone, and then they did the backfill and covered it all up again. So it wasn't in the road, it was off the road in somebody's yard. So it was okay. And we have water, so that's good. So that makes me happy that it was all done by the time I got home from work. I'm not sure exactly what time it happened. I kind of went down and talked to my neighbor who was standing out there talking with the guy from the water department. And then I got an email or heard about a couple of days ago that March 1st yarnspirations.com is having a big sale. You can sign up now with your email for advance notice of the sale. I don't know how good the prices are going to be, but they say it's their biggest sale of the year. So I will check out the prices and see if I want to order any blanket yarn. I believe their shipping is like $10 up to a certain amount, and then it's like $20 for the next level or whatever. They do have a US warehouse and they do have a Canadian warehouse. So if you live in the US, you order from the US site. If you live in Canada, you order from the Canadian site, obviously. So they're also advertising that, and I'm not sure whether it's in time for this sale or whether it's later in the month, that they're going to be having a 1,000 yard or something. No, maybe it's 1,000 grams. 1,000 gram Bernat blanket ball. And they're only going to have it in one color, something indigo. It's like a purplish color. So it's a special thing. I use more yardage than that for a blanket, and I use less yardage than that for a baby blanket. So I don't think I'm going to be buying any of that 1,000 gram ball of Bernat blanket. But I will let you know. I'll try and record over the weekend and do a little video about the sale. If I find that there are really good prices on Bernat blanket, I'll let you know. Otherwise, there won't be a video. They'll just be the regular video of, here's my blankets again, you know. And it'll be kind of short. I'll probably show the stuff from Joann's that I get in a couple of bags, and stitch markers and the skein yarn. Let's see. I can't think of anything to tell you guys, really. It's been kind of boring here. It's been kind of quiet. The last couple of days it hasn't snowed, and it's been up in the 40s. So the snow is kind of melting. My driveway is slush and then ice. So hopefully that keeps melting. That would be lovely if it did keep melting. Also the stuff on the roof, if that keeps melting, that would be excellent as well. Because we have snow on the roof from our couple of weeks back when we had 30 inches of snow, 32 inches of snow in one day. That was not a fun day. I had to stay home from work. As we remember, we called it, you can look at that video, it's called Snow Day, Yarn Day. That was the title of the video. And that was the Friday I had to stay home from work because my car got stuck in the driveway. And it wasn't safe to drive. I spent the weekend with my goddaughter because her parents had to go out of town unexpectedly. So I spent a lot of time crocheting. I finished up a blanket. And then I was working on this blanket as well. So I made progress on this blanket. Yeah, I think I was just working on this blanket. Because this is a blanket I started Super Bowl Sunday. And I got through almost one skein on Super Bowl Sunday. So why it's taking me so long to get this done, I don't know. But it kind of is. You kind of get sick of corner to corner after a while, especially when it's in a 5 weight versus the other blankets that I make, which Bernat blanket is a 6, which is a super bulky weight, and I use either a size N crochet hook, an L crochet hook, or an O crochet hook, depending on what pattern I use. Suzette stitch, I use an O, which is a 12 millimeter hook. The pebble stitch, or the lemon peel, or the griddle stitch as I learned it, I used a size N hook for, I believe. And then for the baby blanket that I make out of 2 skeins of Bernat blanket, which is a ripple pattern, single crochet in the back loop, I use a size L hook, which is an 8 millimeter hook. The size N that I use for the other blanket is a 10 millimeter hook. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this. I like crocheting blankets for Project Linus. It feels good to give away stuff, but it made me realize how much yarn I bought last year, because I have totes, and as we've talked about, I have totes and totes of yarn, and the Bernat blanket takes up a lot of space, so I want to continue to use that and use it up. That's just the plan here. One of the next blankets I'll make after the Walmart blanket, for which I'm using the Suzette stitch, will be with Bernat Forever fleece. I have the color Dancing Queen, which is kind of a pink and peach, or pink and orangey color. It's twisted, marled. And I have 8 skeins of that. I think that's enough to make a good size blanket. I think I'm just going to alternate. I may just do double crochet for all of it, and see how far I get. You know, I can always, I can't remember how many skeins I use, but I'll have to find a basic pattern for it, to know what the count for the beginning chain should be. I think double crochet would be fine for that, and you know, the yarn will show off the colors. It's sort of using the same color, all one color for the blanket, but it's twisted, so it'll have some variation in it. You know, it'll look nice, is what I'm trying to say. And then I have Bernat blanket. I have a couple of skeins where I can do another ripple baby blanket. Depending on how far I get on this blanket tonight, this may be a blanket I take to the eye doctor's office tomorrow. I have to go in for an appointment. I go every 6 months because I have glaucoma, which is the pressure gets raised in the eyes. It's a hereditary condition in my case because both parents had it. One had one type of glaucoma, the other had another type of glaucoma. I started on drops years ago. I take 1 drop in each eye every evening to decrease the pressure in the eye and, you know, save off the symptoms. Because if the pressure builds too much in the eye, it presses on the optic nerve and can damage the optic nerve, and the damage to the optic nerve is not reversible. So that's why we try and keep the pressure under control with drops, so that I don't go blind. You know, these little things in life, you got to make sure. And then they do what's called a field vision test on me every year to look at your peripheral vision and make sure you're not missing any chunks of space, like wherever the optic nerve has been pressed on, that you're not having damage to some area of your eye where you can't see. Like they have little dots that light up in a circular pattern, and you click a clicker whenever you see a dot light up. So a dot might be here, might be over here, might be there, might be here, and you click whenever you see the dot, and then they make a map basically of where you're seeing. So they do each eye separately so they can see if there's damage to the optic nerve at all. And then they take photos of the nerves in your eyes as well. That's probably way more than you ever wanted to know about glaucoma, but as I live with it, I know a little bit about it. My dad, unfortunately, they did not catch the glaucoma soon enough with him back in the 70s, and by the time they caught it, about 50% of his vision was gone in one eye. So as he got older, those symptoms increased to the point where he could no longer see faces. When he looked at somebody, faces were blurry. He couldn't read any longer. Even large size print, he couldn't read. He could write himself notes with a Sharpie on an index card using capital letters with big, like an inch high letter kind of thing to be able to see something. But at that point he was in the nursing home and he really didn't need to, and he could negotiate around his physical environment. He wasn't doing he was wheelchair bound for the last few years of his life in the nursing home. But of course the nursing home is set up so that, you can negotiate with the wheelchair. There's plenty of space in the hallways if you're going down to the living room. It was a 1-story residence with a kitchen, where they would prepare some meals, and then they got to a centralized kitchen where they brought in the meals. And basically he had been eating meals in his room since the pandemic. It was just easier, and then they would bring out the people who needed one-on-one attention. They would bring them out to the dining room and they would have their meals in the dining room. So, and he preferred to have his meals alone after a while. He was just like, okay, I'm done. He got used to it during the pandemic and then was just like, yeah, I prefer to eat by myself and not be worried, that somebody's, trying to eat something and is going to choke sitting next to me or something, if somebody wasn't watching closely or something, not that happened, because he was just more paranoid about things like that than anything else. It was a for instance, could happen, doesn't necessarily mean that it was going to. And I left that residence with crocheted granny rectangle blankets. Before I crocheted for Project Linus, I crocheted for the nursing home, and I brought in a whole bunch of blankets. They were lapgan size one day, and so what they did was they put them over every couch and love seat, and then there were chairs that were down at the end of the halls that they put them over. So if somebody was walking with their walker and then they needed to sit down to catch their breath or whatever, there was a little blanket there that they could put around their shoulders or put on their lap or something like that. So it made it look a little homier, having a blanket around. But now I crochet for Project Linus, which gives blankets to children. So that's good. Keeps me busy. What are we at? We're at 25 minutes or so. So I'm going to say that I'm calling the video. I'm calling it done, and I'm going to go back to watching YouTube videos and relaxing tonight. And I'm going to work on this blanket more. I've got this much more for this particular row. We're getting closer. Pardon me. There we go. Can fit it all in? No. Can fit it all in the frame. So I'm going to let you guys go, and please go craft something. Check out my past videos if you like sitting and crocheting. There is a Wip Session playlist, and you can just run those, and they'll run one right after the other. So I hope you go check those out. Check out the regular podcast too. I tend to do shorter episodes and just show you what projects I'm working on, yarn hauls, that sort of thing. And I have videos that go back over 10 years ago. So if you want to start from the beginning and see me with short hair, not in front of yarn, but like in my bedroom, because that was where I filmed, because I had a webcam. Before I had a tripod and filmed on my phone in my dining room, which is where we are now. You can go back and check out those old videos. So there's more knit content in those older videos too. But I don't know if you're interested in it. You might be, you might not be. I hope you guys have a great week, and please go knit or crochet or craft something, because it is good for your mental health.